Okay, so this Saturday morning action cartoon review comes from Animadude64, and I hope I pronounced it right this time. So his request was for me to rant on Ultimate Spider-Man. Oh god. Now, to get the positives out of the way, I do love the animation. This is what you'd come to expect from Disney, who has billions of dollars to make shows look like this. But it's just a shame that all that good animation had to be completely wasted with terrible writing. Spectacular Spider-Man was basically perfect. The writing, the voice acting, and the overall tone of the series was spot-on Spider-Man storytelling. Ultimate Spider-Man, however, is fairly lazy in terms of plot and storytelling. Sure, it has its funny moments here and there, but the off-the-wall comedy gets old fast. Now, I actually think if it were about a lesser-known Marvel character, then it might be pretty decent. The frequent cameos, the pop culture and meta references, and the fourth wall breaks would help you introduce you to a different side of the Marvel Universe to the characters you may not have seen before, and make you comfortable around the new and different or old and only recently popular properties. Because it's a show about Spider-Man, it's supposed to be based on him, and the storytelling of his story falls short. Ultimate Spider-Man never distinctly feels like Spider-Man. Rather, it just reminds me of the pop culture inundation of Marvel. Which, don't get me wrong, I love and we miss out on the depth and even the wisecracking Heroes has. But so far, a lot of the writers feel like depth and darkness are one and the same. So when the writers of Ultimate Spider-Man were told to make a cartoon, they set about to make an animated slapstick that they imagine the audience wants, which are kids, by the way. Spectacular Spider-Man had lighthearted moments, but it also had meaning. And there was danger in the risk that Spider-Man faced in that show. And the high stakes made the scenes of the humor and happiness all the better. Because we had something to balance it against. And it made it more relatable and honest. If Ultimate Spider-Man came out on YouTube like way back in 2010, then maybe I would have laughed at it, but because it's a studio production with so much potential, I couldn't help but feel disappointed. Ultimate Spider-Man should have surpassed Spectacular Spider-Man because of its animation and shared universe and lessons. And I thought they'd learn from Spectacular Spider-Man. But unfortunately, Disney cares more about profiting off of shows rather than making good quality animated shows. And you can definitely see that from all of Disney's Marvel shows. Now, when I found out that they were going to make another Spider-Man series called Ultimate Spider-Man, I was a little excited, honestly. I thought this was going to be a show based off of the Ultimate Spider-Man comic series, which I own almost all of them, and I was hopeful that this show would make up for the cancellation of Spectacular Spider-Man. I mean, what can go wrong? They had Paul Dini, who most of us know was the writer of Batman the Animated Series, and Brian Michael Bendis, who wrote the Ultimate Spider-Man comics. There is absolutely no way they can fuck this up.
Ah! Okay, the cape is not stupid. Sorry.
Oh, fuck me. Now, to any fan of the webhead, this show is a complete disaster on every level. This show turns a famous, honorable, funny, awesome character like Spider-Man and turns his life into a lame sitcom. This show does not take any fans seriously as it tries so hard to be like Batman the Brave and the Bold. But at least Batman the Brave and the Bold was charming, funny, and serious. Ultimate Spider-Man, however, is not one of them. There are little to no funny jokes in this show. Spider-Man takes a fourth wall humor to the audience in every episode. There is no drama in Spider-Man or Peter Parker's life about the dilemmas of being a superhero. So, do the stories hold up well? No, they suck. They are cookie-cutter slapped-together stories that nobody cares about. Most of them don't even make sense at all. And it's all thanks to Disney giving us the worst interpretation of the beloved character. That kids everywhere that watch this crap are going to think that Spider-Man is nothing more than a desperate silly sitcom character. Welp, Disney Desperate is the best way to describe this show. Because it throws every bottom of the barrel joke, every crappy superhero cliche, every tired slapstick routine, and every over-the-top reaction in sad hopes of getting a laugh. When I watched this show, it could barely get a chuckle out of me. And no, just cause Ultimate Spider-Man was more geared towards kids does not give this show a pass. Now, people have told me that the show gets better towards the end of the series, but that to me is no excuse. If I have to watch 3 seasons of this crap to finally enjoy the show, then you can forget it, because that to me is a waste of my time. And it really says a lot about this show as a whole. So instead of me watching the entire series, I decided to just skip towards the end of the season. And I can say the show has definitely improved a little and has gotten a little more serious, but it still has a lot of writing flaws. I mean, come on, making Harry Osborn anti-Venom was just one of the laziest and insulting ways to introduce the character. I was a bit forgiving with him as Venom since we've seen countless animated versions of Eddie Brock as Venom. However, there was no excuse for Harry Osborn to be anti-Venom, as this was anti-Venom's first animated appearance. And for him to not be Eddie Brock is just downright insulting, especially for me, who is a huge fan of anti-Venom in the comics. And from what I believe, I don't think Eddie Brock ever made an appearance in this show. If he did, then let me know, because I didn't care to follow this show throughout, so yeah. Thank God Marvel is revamping their animation department, and hopefully they go back to the Earth's Mightiest Heroes route. But all in all, Ultimate Spider-Man is just a bad show. Now, I do know that there are people that are fans of this show, and if you like it, then more power to you. But I, for one, think that there are way better Spider-Man shows than this. You want an example? Watch the 90s animated series or Spectacular Spider-Man. Especially Spectacular Spider-Man, which is the definitive and best Spider-Man adaptation. Anything is better than this, including the current Marvel Spider-Man show. Oh god. But as of right now, for my final verdict, Ultimate Spider-Man gets a 5.5 out of 10. This is Red Wolf signing out, and I'll see you next time. Peace.